Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So earlier we said something that everything that we do as Gursikh should go back to Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So one of the first ragade that we hear of in Sikhi came when Guru Nanak Dev Ji, who went to see the Siddh, the spiritual people of the time, and the Siddh Gosht, where the vichar between Guru Nanak Dev Ji and the Siddhs is recorded. The Siddhs challenged Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They said to Guru Nanak Dev Ji that you say the path to liberation is Vandke Shakana, that to earn an honest living and then to share that is the path to liberation. We don't believe that. We think one should just beg from the people what they need and then meditate on God the rest of the time. And they said, prove to us that your teachings are truthful by exhibiting Vandke Shakana to us. And they gave Guru Nanak Dev Ji one Kali Mirch, one black pepper, and said to Guru Nanak Dev Ji, show to us Vandke Shakana. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji said to Bhai Mardana Ji, inu ragdo, jal nal inu shana karo, te saaryan nu pulao. When in one's mind they are inclined towards sharing, then they find the method and means of doing so. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said to grind the pepper, dilute it with water, and then share that water with everyone, so that even that little could be shared a long way. So this is a very important part of the Nihang Singh tradition. There's children here and young people here, and it is important to say many people know that Shahidi Deg is also a part of Nihang Singh traditions. This is something that young people have to be very mindful of. That when you read history and you see things that are part of maybe a certain tradition or a certain way of living, you have to also be alive to there's lots of risks associated with that, especially to young people and especially in this country. So the tradition of Shardaee is something that is for everyone. What we will be putting into this is rose petals, almonds, lechiyan, kali mirch, and then sugar. So some people use khaskhas and magaj. The first thing you usually do is ragad the kali mirch and the lechiyan. We'll do that on one side here. The Singhs will do that, and then on this side the ragad the badam. So because we're making for some more of the sangat, this is how we're doing it. Otherwise, what you usually do is if you're doing it on your own, you can ragad the badam after you've ragad the lechiyan, the kali mirch, and rose petals. Kesar gets put in there sometimes as well. So there's a lot of protein in this. This is one of the reasons why the Singhs used to do it. There's a lot of protein in this, in grinding the almonds. Kali mirch is used as an alkalizer. It's very good for the digestive system, as is lechi. So it's all good things that go in here. And when we think about the things that we drink, the things that we buy, and whether they are good for our health or detrimental for our health, using natural ingredients like this, putting the effort into deriving the nutrients from it, and then serving that to Sangat out of love, is something that the Nihang Singhs have done for hundreds of years. So this will take about, so Punjabi ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਹੁਕਮ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿਣਾ। ਸੋ ਨਿਹੰਗਾ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹੋ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਰਧਾਈਆਂ ਦੇ ਰਗੜੇ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ, ਤੇ ਨਿਹੰਗਾ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਰਗੜੇ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਪਰੰਪਰਾ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ। ਉਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਿੰਦਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਕਿਉਂ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਇਤਿਹਾਸਿਕ ਪਰੰਪਰਾ ਤੁਰੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਾਦੇ ਪੜਦਾਦਿਆਂ ਦੀ। ਪਰ ਹਾਂ, ਉਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਨੌਜਵਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਪ੍ਰੇਰਨਾ ਦੇਣੀ ਆ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ 'ਚ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਣਾ, ਵੰਡ ਕੇ ਛਕਣਾ। ਤੇ these things that have ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੂਰਮਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜੀਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਿਹੰਗ ਸਿੰਘ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉੱਚਾ ਸੁੱਚਾ ਜੀਵਨ, ਨਾਮ ਜਪਣ ਦਾ, ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨਾ, ਘੋੜਿਆਂ 'ਚ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਆ, ਜੰਗ ਯੁੱਧ ਲਈ ਸਦਾ ਤਿਆਰ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਆ, ਇਹ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਦੇਗ ਦੀ ਪਰੰਪਰਾ ਨਿਹੰਗਾ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਉੱਥੇ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਸ਼ਰਧਾਈ ਦੇ ਰਗੜੇ ਤਿਆਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਦਾਮ, ਲੈਚੀਆਂ, ਕਾਲੀ ਮਿਰਚ ਅਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਗੁਲਾਬ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਫੁੱਲ ਰਗੜੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਇਹ ਸ਼ਰਧਾਈ ਦਾ ਭਾਵ ਇਹੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਜੋ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਨਾਲ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ, ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਨਾਲ ਛਕਾ ਕੇ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਪ੍ਰਤੀ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਵਧਾਉਂਦਾ ਆ, ਵੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਾਲ ਛਕਾਉਣਾ। ਆਪਾਂ ਜੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਦਮਦਮਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਾਬੋ ਕੀ ਤਲਵੰਡੀ ਜਾਈਏ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੰਥਿਆ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਜਥੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਰਹੇ, ਫਿਰ ਅਕਾਲੀ ਫੂਲਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਆਪਣਾ ਜਥਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਰਿਹਾ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਹਜੇ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਸਲੋਤਰ ਸੁਨਹਿਰੇ ਪਏ ਆ। slotter in those places are as high as tree trunks. वो एक अभ्यास है शरीर दा. It is a fitness exercise. Doing this Amrit Vela for Nihang Singh is something that it wakes you up, it gets your body moving, it gets you active. When you do Simran as well, it can be quite intense on the head. So the badam, these things going into it, and even magaj and khaskhas, which we're not putting in today, is something that some people use again to relax the nerves in the head. So ਇਹ ਸਿਰਫ ਨਿਹੰਗ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਰੰਪਰਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ. It's a mistake to think that it's just Nihang Singhs that have done this. ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਪਰੰਪਰਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ. ਜਿਵੇਂ ਨਾਨਕਸਰ ਸੰਤ ਬਾਬਾ ਆਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਸੰਤ ਬਾਬਾ ਮਹਾ ਹਰਨਾਮ ਸਿੰਘ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਰੰਪਰਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਰਗੜੇ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਸੀ. ਭਾਈ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ, ਜਾਣੀ ਇਹ ਸਾਧੂ ਸੰਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਜਾਂ ਯੋਧਿਆਂ ਲਈ ਅੱਡ ਬਣਦਾ ਆ, ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਦੇ ਕੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ. ਅਤੇ ਆਮ ਸੰਗਤ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਿਉਂ ਉਹ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਬਚਣਾ ਆ ਅਤੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਬਚਣਾ ਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸ਼ਰਧਾਈ ਤਿਆਰ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ. ਸੋ 5 ਮਿੰਟ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਹੋਰ ਰਗੜਨਾ ਆ. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਚਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਬੰਦ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰੀਏ ਕਿ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਆਪਣਾ ਨਾਮ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੈ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਭੋਗ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਛਕਾਂਗੇ ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨਾਮ ਦੀ ਬਰਕਤ ਪਾਵੇ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ. ਸੋ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੜਾਹ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦ ਬਣਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, the way that we make ਕੜਾਹ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਵਿਧੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਣਦਾ. ਮਤਲਬ there is a technique to doing so, there is a method of doing so. ਇੱਦਾਂ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਦੇਗ ਅਤੇ ਸ਼ਰਦਾਈ ਉਹਦੀ ਵਿਧੀ ਨਾਲ ਬਣਦਾ. It means there's a way, there's a tradition, there's a certain way of doing it. So now young Singh has just been told to cover his face. So ਇੱਕ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਪਰੰਪਰਾ ਆ. You cover your face when you prepare food, when you prepare any type of prasad. This is something that Nihang Singhs for a long time took a lot of stick for. We pakhand karde a, and then Corona came and everyone wanted to cover your face. So it's just sensible to do this when preparing food, especially if you have a dari, and especially if hygiene is of importance. And the other thing, what you do with Shahidi Deg, so there's an old bola, Sukha mircha chhaan ke saaf kiya 2 baar, baki nugda jobale sir malesh de char. When the residue that's left over from the shana is prepared, you throw that raising battle cries against your enemies in battle. One of the things that people probably saw last year was Nihang Singh still believe this. And if Nihang Singhs didn't believe this, they wouldn't have been on Delhi defending the Sikhs when you had very powerful forces surrounding them. So when we have people within our own religion who uphold these beliefs with such faith and conviction that they are willing to put their life on the line for us, it is quite lowly of us to then belittle those traditions without much understanding. So ਇਹ ਰਗੜੇ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਰਗੜਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦਾ ਅਸਰ ਨਿਕਲਦਾ ਆ raging these things is the nutrients and the qualities are released from them and can be digested in a much easier way. So whereas I said with Siddhi Deg you have the tradition of you take it in, you sharden it, you take the residue and the pulp that is left, you ragad it again and you put it through 2 or 3 times. With Shardaee the same principles don't always apply. So usually you would probably ragad it for a lot longer, particularly the quantity that we're making. What we'll do is we'll sharden it now. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਦਾ ਛਾਣਾ ਲਾ ਲਓ ਬਰਕਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਇਹਦਾ ਲਾ ਦਿਓ ਛਾਣਾ ਬਦਾਮ ਫਿਰ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ so the purpose of the sharna it acts as a further filter. So what you do is you gather the rust meaning the raw ingredients that have been ragad, so you gather them, and again with Shahidi Deg we use sarblo batte and we wash them with sucha pani and then we sod them with reta. And yes, this is ritualistic. Water comes from the earth, sand is the earth, and using the earth to nourish and purify a sarblo bata, which is also a natural ingredient. It is a ritual, but it is a ritual that invokes cleanliness. It is a ritual that invokes a sense of godliness. And it's a ritual that reminds us that before we prepare prasad, we should with Sharda clean everything that we use as part of that. So this is where Suchamta comes into such importance. So for the Sharna, which is essentially the filtering process, usually malmal is the best kapda. And you see the rust can just be lifted via hand. If you're doing it on your own in a balti, the way Singh's tying it is quite an easy way to do it. If you've got 2 people to do it, then that's even better. So as the rust going, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਲ ਪਾਉਣਾ. ਸੋ ਜਲ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਹਾਨ ਪਵਿੱਤਰਤਾ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਲ ਨੂੰ in ਬਾਣੀ. We sometimes lose the essence of Gurbani and the importance that it places on the natural world, the importance that it places on the natural elements, because each of these things are within us. So Sanera vi patthar da banaya hoya, that is from the earth. Slotar vi lakkad da banaya hoya, that is from the, you start to see how the natural world kind of all sort of is something which is encompassed then within the sort of the daily name, the daily practices and traditions that the Nihang Singhs do. So the Nogada, you can see Singhs gathering it just now into a point. This is always somewhere to be careful of. If you get it wrong, it gets messy. So pay attention when you do this bit for yourself. And then, yeah, it's getting dipped into the water. And ek wari taan karke shana maar do abe. And then mature. That's it. That's the asar now starting to come out. So this is where you start to get the good stuff all coming out from it. Bhai, khol ke ek bari pa do ja, to kafi ho jana tera. So if you're just doing a little bit, what Singh just did, you dip it into the sanera, you nachor it, you dip it into the sanera, you nachor it. If you're doing a lot, which there's a lot of you here, then you can open the balti and just pour bati cho pani pa le vich, khol ke na vich pa le pani. हाँ पा लो फिर बादाम पा लेने भी तैयार है हाँ जी ਇਹਨੂੰ ਖੋਲ ਦਿਓ ਛਾਣੇ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਬਾਤੀ ਨਾਲ ਫਿਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾ ਦਿਓ ਬਚਾ ਲਓ ਗੱਲ ਆਮ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਲੋਤਰ ਸੁਨਹਿਰੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ. This is another thing, when you go to Punjab in the villages, everyone had one of these in their house, because a lot of the things that we get from the shops now, like we get pepper, we get it ground in a powder format. People would always buy those things raw and grind them themselves. Even mirchan, even chilies, even chutney banoniya, mint and gande, these things. This was the custom of Punjab, where people would, well before blenders and machines, they would have these things at home and use them to prepare things. daily, and women still do that in Punjab. Now the sort of, in the Western culture, the mortal and pestle is sort of seen as a traditional symbol of health, in that it's associated with sort of natural medicine, the way people make natural remedies from botanics, and it's not something that you see used much, but you do see the symbolism of it still used essentially around sort of health products and that sort of market. In London we use bottled water, but in Huddersfield we know the water is okay. Avi pali ho bhai, inu kholo badam pali. At Anandpur Sahib at Shahidi Bagh, if some of you have been there for Hola Mohalla, you see there the sections that are made especially for Shahidi Day and Shardaee for the Sangat, where at Hola Mohalla thousands if not tens of thousands of people each day will come and have this. So even people that are not Nihang Singhs, there's a lot of Sangat that has faith in these traditions, where Sangat will ask Nihang Singhs to do a Shahidi Ragda at the house. Sangat will ask for an ardas to be done for this, because there's a lot of families where this tradition is still prevalent. And even at Hajur Sahib, in the Takht Sahib, there are times of the day when inside the Takht of Maharaj, where the Shastra Prakash, there's certain times of the day when Shardaee goes in, and there's certain times of the day that Shahidi Day will go in. And this is something that if you ask them, why do you do this? They say because their ancestors have done this from the times of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and we simply are keeping alive that tradition from Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So ਭਾਵ ਇਹ ਪਰੰਪਰਾ ਸਦੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਤੁਰੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਿਰਫ ਨਿਹੰਗ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ, ਹਜੂਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਪਰ ਕਈ ਹੋਰ ਸਾਧੂ ਸੰਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਪਰੰਪਰਾਵਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ. Also, before Singhs, when they would eat very little because they would sleep very little, so this was the lifestyle of the Singhs. So something like this, it provides as much nutrition, if not more, as what probably a normal meal would for people. So for people that do a ragda every day, because of the nutritious value that you're getting from it, if you ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹੁਣ ਚਾਹ ਪੀਂਦੇ ਆ, ਚਾਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੀਂਦਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਚਾਹ ਪੀਤੀ ਤਾਂ people know if they've not had their cup of tea. But there's a nutritional value as well, in terms of how much goodness, how much protein one is getting, the digestive benefits one is getting from the lechiya, and the anti-acidic alkalizing benefits one is getting from the kali mirch. There are so many benefits to these things that if you do consume it regularly, your body will, it's not about, there's no intoxicating substance within that. If you have cereal every day, if you eat roti every evening, whatever you do repetitively, your body will sort of tune into that. Some of the other gurdwara that if you ever go to India, to look out for. So around Hajur Sahib, there is Sarblo Bunga, which is where the Nihang Singhs used to stay during Guru Gobind Singh Ji's time. You'll find old scenery, patthar de scenery, built into the ground, going back to those time periods, and the way you do at Shahidi Bagh, and also other sporadic gurdwara. We all know the story of Bhai Mehtab Singh Ji when they went to kill Masa Rangar in Buddha Jor, which was once part of Punjab before it was split, where areas like Hanuman Nagar, etc., where Punjabi and Gursikhs, a lot of them lived there, because there's a lot of history there. And the jagah that Bhai Sukha Singh and Mehtab Singh stopped off at to do a ragda before they went to do their mission to kill Masa Rangar, that's still preserved as a Shawnee by the Nihang Singhs there as well. So we see like a lot through our history that there is an affiliation to our warriors from that time period of this tradition. So once they've done this shana, so once this is dried and there's an element of residue, with this much rust, to be honest, you'd have to rugger it for about an hour easily to get the residue out of it. For a single person, maybe about 15-20 almonds, which you rugger maybe for about 15-20 minutes, is about adequate. Everything in moderation. It doesn't matter what it is. Too much water is not good for you, let alone anything else. And then, yeah, sugar goes into this to make it sweet. But one of the things we learn is ਜੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਿੱਠਾ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਪੀਓਗੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਹਿਰ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ ਜੇ ਫਿੱਕਾ ਪੀਓਗੇ ਦਵਾਈ ਆ. If you put too much sugar into this, then it will become not good for you. If it is drank less sweet, then it is better for you. So ਹੁਣ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਸ਼ੇ ਦਾ ਰੌਲਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ. How much nasha is in sugar? Some studies have shown that sugar is more addictive than cocaine. How much disease is caused from sugar, but yet because from a commercial perspective these things aren't topical or the attention doesn't go to them, they don't strike in our minds, but yet the ideas about what's good and bad that often has underlying commercial interest. Because Nihang Singh kyun shakde a? Nihang Singh prane koi dawai nahi shakde sige. If they would get ill, they wouldn't go to the doctor, they wouldn't go to the pharmacist. This was their medicine, the herbs that they prepared, the manner that they prepared it with. So everything in moderation, anything out of moderation will cause you harm. It's quite simple in that regard. So for Nihang Singhs that do this regularly, the skill in doing it is you pride yourself when the nugda comes out completely dry, because you've put the effort into grinding it so fine that most of it has been dissolved, and you've nichored it so much that the rasa, the essence of it, has come out. That would take a long time to do with this much, so it's not going to be the perfect one. It's not bad. Nugda. This is a nugda. So in the bole that you see in history where people talk about throwing the nugda, this is what they throw. पानी पा दो बाद में. So the Shardaee here, what we'll do is we'll take it into the langar. So we'll ask them to serve it into the langar. It is a little bit, it might get watered down with milk and sugar, it will still taste nice. If you want a good amount, like a bati or a glass fill, then come at Amritullah, because then we'll make it like big and bulk. So yeah, Amritullah, oh, one good buddy. For Nihang Singhs, particularly with the tradition of Shahidi Dig, where Sikhi is on Shardaee. Sikhi is a faith, right? We call it a religion, but another word for religion is faith, which means that where someone places their faith, जिथे किसी दी भावना या जिथे किसी दी शरदा या वो चीज़ उन्हें तारूगी. Where your faith and where your belief is, ultimately that is the thing that will take you to your path of liberation, wherever that faith and belief lies, because that is it's a human being superpower almost. Their faith is the ability that lets them achieve beyond themselves. So Nihang Singhs ਦੀ faith ਤੇ belief ਹੈ ਵੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਰਗੜੇ ਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਭੋਗ ਲਾਉਣਾ ਸ਼ਹੀਦਾਂ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਨਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ. ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਦੀ ਭਾਵਨਾ ਆ, that belief of being invincible, is because it is reinforced, it is endorsed through these practices. So when people ask sometimes why did Nihang Singhs do things, why these things were done centuries ago and everything else, for Nihang Singhs it's just about maintaining your tradition. It's about maintaining the tradition, because knowing that it's a tradition that has been around before us and will outlast us for a long time. So the Shardaee is made, the Singhs will take it to do a Gupta Das, and then it will go into the langar. So the Shardaee workshop is going to finish here. It was this is how you make Shardaee. We're not telling anyone to go away and start doing Shaheedi Deg and make Shaheedi Deg, expect Shaheedi. That's not what we're saying. Yeah, we're saying here's the tradition that Nihang Singhs have. Here is what's prepared for the Sangat. The tradition of Shaheedi Deg is something that if you live one day in a Nihang Singh camp where they get up at 12 o'clock, you're sleeping, getting bit by mosquitoes, you're having a bath outside in cold water, whether it's July or whether it's December, you see there's a particular lifestyle where certain things might be advantageous. Bring those things into your everyday life and you risk just becoming a junkie. You risk becoming a waste man. That's the term they use, yeah? So these things are dangerous as well. Don't play around with them. These are like sacred traditions of ours. So we'll finish there. We'll have a 5-10 minute break. And then Reras will be Shabd, first Shabd Kirtan, Reras, Arti Artha, Katha Kirtan, then this evening. So Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
और दुरू दुरू तेरी मातनू और गच्चू श्री साहब तेरे नाचनू और गच्चू की रहने दसम ग्रंथ ना अड़के जन कटरा चूड़ी आए अंदर वड़ के और गच्चू खालसा आऊगा चढ़ के तानू लज्जा मुझा नू ले दूंगा फड़ के और गच्चू जरा आऊगा चढ़ के और जाऊगा चढ़ के खालसे ना आएगा करने ले मरेगा गज कर गरे आवे